Howdy, guys, and welcome to Cliff Notes, and welcome to night number 37 of the overnight feed recaps for Big Brother season 26. A good Saturday to all of y'all. All right, yesterday was a weird day, very strange day, and not because we had nominations. Yeah, there were nominations made yesterday, but it almost seems like they were a bit of an afterthought. Just a strange day. We started off with the feeds going down very early in the morning. Feeds were down all day long. All sorts of speculation that a house guest might have said something inappropriate based on Chelsea getting upset, going in Thursday night, going into the diary room, crying, and all of that. So there was speculation that maybe someone said something that wasn't proper, wasn't correct. I'm not going to talk about those speculations because as far as I know, that's all it was speculations and no proof of anything yet. But we did have the feeds down all day long. But when the feeds returned around 2 o'clock or so, Big Brother time, everyone was present. We don't know what was going on as of now, recording this. We still don't know why the feeds were down so long yesterday. We may never know. But yeah, lots of speculation taking place. But we did get our first visit from the BBAI instigator. We did not actually get to see it happen on the feeds. The feeds were shut down again at that point. We got the feeds back after the long shutdown throughout the entire day. Had the feeds for just a little while. Everyone seemed like they were okay. Suddenly the feeds go down again for about an hour. When they come back, everyone's looking a lot more shocked, a lot more surprised, a lot more concerned when the feeds come back. They're all sitting, except for Joseph, who is upstairs in the lounge room taking some Joseph time, I guess. Everyone else is downstairs on the couch, again, looking very concerned about what has just happened. Apparently, the hologram box that normally shows that gold trophy looking thing or whatever, the hologram box changed to an image of Quinn, and Quinn's image was giving a message with several different little bits of tea to spill, saying that Tucker and Rubina had been holding hands, that they should have sent out Rubina last week. Shout out saying Pentagon for life. And apparently Tucker said something about that it had said something about his mental health. No, it seems like the other folks in the house maybe didn't hear that part. It was only played once. I think Mackenzie or someone said, "Hey, could you play that again?" Well, now Big Brother's not going to play it again. They heard it once, so then they were spending time trying to figure out just what was said. Why was it said? Was it true? What was going on? Yeah, this thing caught the house guest off guard completely, to the point that within 10 or 15 minutes of the feeds coming back, Rubina gets up, runs upstairs crying, goes into the HOH room. Tucker goes after her, giving her some hugs, giving her some kiss, maybe peck or two, but mainly giving her a pep talk. And I don't know if Rubina was more upset about the fact that they talk about the two of them holding hands, or that Rubina should have been sent home the week before. Tucker seemed to take it more about the holding hands and this showmance and all that, because he's saying, "Hey, look, if everyone knows, we can do a lot more now," and all of that. And eventually she gets better. I don't know if it was that or just this idea that someone is saying Rubina should have been the one to go home last week. Probably a little bit of both. But Rubina, as giddy, as incredibly excited as she was the night before with T-Core winning HOH, was on the exact opposite path yesterday, feeling very down in the dumps about everything that was said. So yeah, kind of tough. The AI instigator has claimed his or her first victim. Now, let me say this. I'm going to say throughout this review, the instigator. I don't think the house guests have been told anything by Big Brother. No one seems to be using the word instigator or anything else. They're saying the person who talked, the deep fake, things like that. I'm going to say instigator just to keep it clear. But yeah, they haven't. I don't think Big Brother said anything like there's a power out here or anything else. All right, I mentioned Rubina getting upset. The house guests are all wondering if the messages are from someone inside the house that has gotten some kind of power, that maybe America has voted for them to have a power. Why, yes, that's exactly what's going on. But there is also talk that maybe one of these 5 house guests that have already been evicted, maybe one of them was granted some kind of power that they battled out, or America voted for one of them, and they get to screw with the house guests that are still in the house by spilling what tea they have and all that. there was talk later in the evening that the tea they spilled, this Quinn AI, was kind of older tea, that it wasn't maybe the most up-to-date information. And so they're wondering if maybe someone that maybe has been out of the house for just a little while got the chance to do this. Oh, I don't know, like Brooklyn maybe. So they're certainly speculating that maybe it's not someone within the house, but by the end of the evening, it seems like a consensus belief is it's probably someone inside here who's just screwing with the rest of us. So a lot of talking about who could that person possibly be. Leah did point out that in the first week or whatever, when Ainsley was talking to all of them, that Ainsley had said that she would be listening to the house guest. And Leah said, I think that could be literal. She's literally been listening to us. So maybe is what she said what people have actually said, or is it just fake stuff? That's the question they're all trying to figure out. We don't know. Well, we don't know yet who the instigator is. I expect that come Sunday, whoever it is, I don't know, maybe Angela. I don't know. I'm just guessing. That Sunday's episode of Big Brother, we're going to see someone say, I got the power. Guess what I'm doing? And we'll get more details about it. But right now, we don't know who the instigator is. All right. We then lost feeds again during the nomination process. Kind of forgot about the nominations, didn't you, with everything else? But we did have the feeds eventually come back around 4:30 or so. We learned that T-Core has nominated for eviction this week. She's nominated MJ, Cam, and Tucker. Tucker volunteered to go on the block. I don't think that was the best idea, but Tucker volunteered. MJ is the primary target. Cam's up there, I guess, as a backup if you had to. But yeah, MJ, Cam, and Tucker on the block. No huge surprise there. That's basically what T-Core was talking a little bit about the night before. So we've got our nominations. MJ is certainly the primary target of the three, and I think Mackenzie knows that as well, unfortunately. All right, we've got T-Core and Rubina talking. Rubina is confirming that T-Core or confirming, getting confirmation from T-Core that she would keep Tucker. At first, she says, you'd vote for Tucker to stay, right? And Rubina said, well, I don't get to vote, Rubina. And she said, no, I mean, if it came down to a tie, if it's a 4-4 tie, would you vote to keep Tucker? And T-Core, I don't remember her specifically saying yes, but I think that's the assumption. And I think she let Rubina know that as well. They are wondering if maybe, and that's an interesting idea, the two of them are talking about potential battle backs. They're wondering if one of the former house guests could return with a battle back. We forget that we as viewers know that's not the case. They've all had their interviews with Julie. They're out in the real world. There is no battle back. They inside the house don't know that. They've got to be a little bit worried. They're talking about saying, yeah, I'd love to see Cedric come back. Yeah, Brooklyn, maybe not so much. They said, yeah, if Brooklyn comes back, she's going right back up on the block. But they're talking about, could a house guest be coming back? And maybe that's the reason that there was no jury announcement from Julie on Thursdays, because someone's coming back into the house. So there's still one more pre-jury slot to be filled. Again, they're working off of limited information, whereas out here we get to see almost everything. All right, T-Core's feeling bad that Cam is up for the second week on the block, but Rubina pointed out saying, yeah, he seems fine with it. Doesn't really seem to be phasing Cam. There's not a lot that does face Cam in his house, is there? All right, they talk about that. Quinn eventually joins the two of them, and he's saying that he does not think it's an evicted house guest that's instigating this thing, that he thinks that would be kind of unfair for them to have this extra information and get to manipulate the game after they're outside the house, that he really thinks is probably someone in the house instead, and they probably got it through America's vote. Quinn's watched enough seasons of Big Brother. He knows how this goes. So he's suggesting what is actually the case. America voted on someone to get this instigator power. All right, we've got Leah and Chelsea talking a little bit. Chelsea is telling her that MJ had told Chelsea that Leah had wanted at one point to start a 3-person alliance of Chelsea and Leah and MJ. And Leah saying, look, I'm not working with MJ. I'm not working with Mackenzie. We're just not. And Chelsea's, now I understand. Chelsea's saying that MJ, in fact, had said that Leah didn't want to work with her. And so she's kind of confirming what Leah's just said. But Chelsea is saying she still wants to see MJ go far. Even if they don't work yet, she'd like to see her go far. Would she? Or was that Chelsea or Leah? I don't know. They're saying that they'd be fine with MJ going a little bit further. I feel like MJ is the target of pretty much everyone in the house this week. So yeah, I don't know. MJ needs to win this AIBB arena if she wants to stick around for for another week. All right, lots of talk throughout the house about the veto competition being held today. We assume it's today. Surely it's today. But the veto competition being OTEV, one of the iconic competitions. Oh, I love playing in OTEV. Kat Dunn and I had our little hallmark moment during our season. So cool to get to play in that comp. Well, they're thinking that today could be OTEV, and it could be. During my season, it was day 53. Today is day 39 or whatever in the house for them. So it's within range that you could be having OTEV. Chemo is going over, God, he goes over the days with everyone, it seems like. Chemo going over days and events with Tucker. Tucker listening and practicing, but Tucker also laying in bed and seems like he's just almost halfway out of it and seeming to be half asleep. Now, later he does tell Rubina he knows all that. He goes over it. And Rubina says, well, you actually know that pretty well. And he says, yeah, I just learned it today, just picked it up. So Tucker's listening to Chemo, but not acting like he's so enthusiastic about it. They're doing days, events, votes, things like that. If it is OTEV, you never know what it's going to be. During my season, I had all those days and everything memorized, but the competition was asking for the names of all different events competitions we competed in. So they wanted the names instead of what days did things happen or votes or anything. You never know. You just better be prepared for anything, which Chemo is trying to do as he preps Tucker just in case it is indeed OTEV. Because remember, Chemo's not competing in veto unless he gets picked by someone. So he's going to do what he can to help out his side as much as possible. All right, we've got Joseph coming into the HOH room quickly just to thank T-Core for leaving him off the block. He said, I've been kind of avoiding you. I didn't want to make it too obvious, but I just want to thank you. I recognize that you could put me on the block, and I thank you for not doing so. He tells her, says, look, just so you know, I will be voting Tucker. I'm not voting Tucker out. And I'll vote however you want me to vote this week. Just let me know. I've got your back. Again, she still has renom power. So certainly from Joseph's standpoint, do everything you can to make the HOH know that you're on her side, and certainly not someone that she would ever want to get rid of this week, right? So yeah, Joseph worked in T-Core a little bit by saying, I got your back. Just let me know what needs to be done this week. All right, we've got MJ and Chelsea talking a little bit. Mackenzie's convinced that Angela is the instigator. She thinks more about it. She thinks it's Angela that could be the instigator. She's saying, look at Angela. She went from the most hated person in the house to the most protected. She said people are protecting her because they know they can beat her at the end. She's thinking America probably is fine with Angela and cheering her on. And she says as a result, she just thinks that Angela is the instigator. And they talk about this Pentagon for life and all, talk about how corny that is. And she just thinks that's the kind of stuff that Angela would do if she was the instigator. So Mackenzie convinced she's going to tell quite a few other people that throughout the evening. All right, Chemo, I mentioned quizzing Tucker on OTEV possible dates and memories and everything. Well, he's doing the same thing with Cam in preparation for OTEV as well. So yeah, I guess, does that mean that Chemo wants Mackenzie gone if he's prepping Tucker and Chemo to try to make sure one or the other wins veto today? All right, we've got Joseph and Quinn. I just put on my notes, super fan talk. They're talking about James Ryan from season 6 and 7, if I recall, talking about how Tucker's looking, giving them James Ryan vibes. Yeah, super fan stuff there. They're thinking that Tucker is very serious when he's alone, that he's giving this tone of I'm just this loud guy that's always just out there. But they're both thinking that, yeah, when he's alone, that there's a lot more to Tucker. He's probably very serious in the way he's playing this game. They're thinking that, I think as Joseph said, that he thinks that Tucker has America's player wrapped up. He said, yeah, when he was yelling at you, Quinn, I thought maybe that would help. Maybe I could get America's player if people get mad at him for yelling at you. He said, but yeah, he said, Tucker's got America's favorite lined up. I'm just going for top 3 at this point in time. So they're thinking about their positions in the game. Now that America has voted on something, I think all of them are trying to think about how are they being received by America as well. They didn't win the vote, but hopefully people like them. You like me. You really like me. So they're talking about that. Joseph talking about how paranoid Chemo is. Just about everything. Why should today be any different than the other day? All right, we've got T-Core and Rubina and Quinn all talking, still talking about who's the instigator, the theme of the day. Leah is going to start doing some interrogations to find out. She said, I'm going to start asking around. And Chelsea said, well, they'll give you information. Yeah, we need to find out who this instigator is. I hope whoever it is keeps it a secret. I hope they keep it a secret better than than other folks have done in the past. We can pretty much know it's not Quinn because he would have already told everyone he was the instigator, right? All right, they think it could be Joseph or Quinn. They see that what was said and things like that. They can just see Joseph or Quinn just kind of saying and putting some of that out there. So they're thinking it could be one of those two guys. Mackenzie's thinking it's Angela. So a few names being thrown out. Chelsea is telling Quinn or telling Leah about Quinn, saying, you know what, that Quinn, go get some info from him. Quinn is absolutely in love with you. And Leah said, "Now stop." She said, "No, he's in love with you. He's always staring at you whenever you're in a room with him. And he can't stop coming into whatever your room in, Leah. He's got it hard for you. He's in love with you." And I'm not sure Leah really wants to hear that. But Leah ought to be trying to use that to her advantage as well. If she thinks that truly is the case, play it up, do what you need to do to get a little information from Quinn and a little protection as well. All right, we've got Cam and Leah talking a little bit, talking about flirting and things like that. Cam and Leah talking. Cam's thanking her for giving him the heads up on Thursday about the way the votes would go. I think she had just told him something about that there could be a blind side taking place and that he needed to win. I don't know what it all was, but she gave him some heads up about what was going on in the house, and he's thanking her for that. He's saying that he has her back if she is ever on the block in the way he is this week. Ladies and gentlemen, Cam is campaigning. Cam has entered the house. Yeah, he's actually campaigning to Leah a little bit, saying, yeah, if you're ever in this position, I've got your back. And Leah says, well, I'll continue to have your back as well. So does he have a vote in Leah if he ends up on the block Thursday? Maybe. We will find out. Yeah, Cam's campaigning. Congratulations, Cam. I'm glad to see that. All right, we've got Angela and Cam and Mackenzie talking. Angela's talking about how well Cam and MJ handle being on the block. She says, I was so emotional. I couldn't handle it. The stress. I just couldn't handle it. Y'all two just seem to be handling it so well. I think MJ says something like, yeah, we're really good at handling losing or something, which kind of laughing about. But as they go into more conversation, it's interesting because MJ and Cam are both saying that they're both athletes. They're used to losing. And I think they mean that seriously. As an athlete, you win some, you lose some. They're used to handling the defeats here or there. And so for them being on the block, they just feel like they're able to handle a little bit better. And I thought that was interesting. They probably do have the background to assist with this. You can't get too panicky when you're in that house, good or bad. And Angela tends to get a little panicky and emotional, good or bad. Not so much MJ, and certainly not so much Cam, who doesn't get panicky about anything. All right, MJ is saying that really, as hard as it is to be on the block, that she's gotten closest to people while on the block. Because she says normally she just isn't that open to people. When she's on the block, she's kind of forced to be. And so she's felt like she's actually gotten closer when she's been on the block. She says she knows that she's on the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to kind of personal relationships with other folks, that, you know, this whole lone wolf narrative and all of that. She understands that. She says, I hope people like me, though, that I'm not disliked. Again, wondering how you're perceived, not just in the house, but out in the real world as well. Angela saying, no, y'all are both well liked. Y'all don't need to worry about that at all. Everyone likes y'all. Angela at that point is telling Cam that, Angela saying, hey, Cam, just so you know, I'm sure you've heard around the house that I kind of may have said that I thought you're kind of hot. And he said, yeah, I may have heard a little bit about that. And she said, well, just so you know, I just think you're the most attractive guy in the house. I think she says something about life, a little bit younger and all that, you know. Just think you're a very attractive guy, Cam. And so they're laughing about that. Cam saying, well, I appreciate it. I absolutely appreciate, you thinking that. It's fantastic. Later they come downstairs. Everyone downstairs is giving them a hard time. And later they're telling Angela to twerk for Cam and things like that. They're having fun with it. And everyone's laughing and enjoying the whole little joking around about it. All right, we've got Joseph talking to the cameras, talking about what a crush he has on Leah. If they're not talking about instigators, they're talking about crushes yesterday. He's saying that what a crush he has on Leah. He says, that's disgusting. It's just horrible. I can't believe I got this huge crush. He didn't say, I think, did he say crush? I feel like he said in love with her. He may have said crush. What a crush he has on Leah. He said, I was supposed to be secretly aligning. I think he means with her. Well, not so secret if you've got this crush on her and all that. He's saying, I was supposed to be a robot in here. No emotion. I'm just here to win. And yet I've got this crush on Leah. So Leah's being told that Quinn is in love with her. Joseph is declaring that he has a crush on Leah. Uh, yeah, he just the Love Island inside the Big Brother house. All right. I went through a little bit of that with my season. I can relate to some of the folks in here dealing with that. All right, we've got Rubina trying to explain to Tucker about holding his hand. Oh, Rubina trying to explain this whole holding Tucker's hand to keep T-Core and Chemo, trying to say, it was supposed to be subtle. He just reached over there. She's trying to justify while he was holding her hand, and they're saying, it's fine, it's fine. If Rubina only knew just how much we as viewers know about their relationship and the level of their relationship, she maybe would, I don't know how she would respond to that. All right, we've got Quinn and MJ and Cam talking. More talk about Angela being the instigator. Now, here's what I thought was interesting. The reason I mentioned this, Cam at one point says, look, Quinn took away all of Angela's power. When she was HOH, he did the deep fake, took away Angela's power. Would it not make sense now if Angela has power that she would use Quinn as this AI avatar to spread all his tea and maybe kind of hit him back a little bit? It makes sense to me. It truly does. I could see Angela sitting in the diary room making some of these little comments and everything and and doing some things that Angela does. So yeah, I think Cam may be onto something, which is why I think it is possible that maybe Angela is the instigator. We'll find out here in a couple of days. All right, more time spent studying the days and everything. Chemo and Rubina and T-Core are going over that as well. Chemo brings up this idea as far as jury and why there wasn't an announcement on Thursday. Chemo's thinking that what if we have a jury of 8 and Ainsley gets the 9th vote? So basically, would that be America voting? I would think so, unless you got some Ainsley AI program that takes everything. Do they have artificial intelligence that can watch all the live feeds for 89 days and based on that, then say, okay, who deserves to win this the most? Wouldn't that be interesting if you have a real AI program casting a vote for the winner of Big Brother? I'm in for it as long as it's a good program. I don't know. It seems like there's all kinds of potential hiccups and hurdles you'd have to deal with on that. But Chemo thinking it could be a jury of 8 and then Ainsley somehow gets a 9th vote as well. Tucker talking to Quinn about his acting. We heard that if Tucker hadn't gotten on to Big Brother, he was going to be in London for 4 months studying acting. He wants to do or has done a show in New York, a one-man show portraying different characters and everything else. So, telling Quinn just a little bit about some of his acting stuff that he's done as part of his background. All right, we got Chelsea going into the HOH room just to say goodnight to T-Core and Rubina and Chemo, giving them hugs. I don't think she stayed in that long, but came in just to kind of touch bases with them, then back out the door. T-Core is telling Chemo and Rubina she wants this to be her final 4. T-Core and Chemo, Rubina. I think Chelsea is who she's referencing as the 4th person. I'm sure that's the case. T-Core and Chelsea. Yeah, of course she wants Chelsea in there with her. T-Core and Chelsea, Chemo and Rubina. That's who T-Core wants as her final 4. T-Core is saying the 6th Avenue. Yeah, that's the alliance, but she feels it's a little bit like the collective. It just doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel right. It just kind of feels temporary. So yeah, she's got her final 4 picked out. Final 6, maybe not so much. Chemo's talking about saying he trusts Quinn more than he trusts Joseph when it comes down to it. Rubina's thinking that, yeah, they've got this 6th Avenue and all that, but she thinks that the final 6 really should be these 4, Chelsea, T-Core, Rubina, and Chemo, plus Tucker and Quinn. That's who she would rather see. So not so much Angela, not so much Joseph. Tucker and Quinn for the final 2 in the top 6. She's saying take Angela and Joseph as far as we can go, but we'll drop them after that. It's not that big a deal. Rubina is saying that she would take Tucker out, talking about this idea of, if they're final 4, what happens with Tucker? She says, look, when it's time to take out Tucker, when I should take out Tucker, I'm willing to do that. And she says, I think he would respect me for doing it as well. We'll see if that's truly. Would she really take him out? I don't know. I give her a lot of credit and respect if she's willing to do that somewhere down the road. I guess we'll find out over the next month or so. But she says she's be willing to do it. T-Core is saying that Joseph really wants to take Chelsea out. They've got to be careful for Joseph. Again, Chemo said he didn't trust Joseph as much as Quinn. Now T-Core saying Joseph wants Chelsea out. So Joseph is certainly on some people's radar. Rabina is saying that Angela is an easy vote to get out. We'll just get her out whenever, which is why Angela may go a long way in this game. She's saying Angela's an easy vote, that really Cam and Mackenzie are our biggest threats. Those are the two that we need to be aiming for as much as possible. Rabina, shifting focus away from gameplay a little bit. Rabina is telling T-Core and Chemo that she thinks that Tucker is her person. That you just know sometimes that he is her person, that she would be willing to move to New York City for Tucker, and she just feels so good about everything with him. It amazes me the relationships that can develop inside this house. Some of them last, some of them don't last very long, but she feels like this could be one of the long lasting ones, and she is ready to move to New York to be with Tucker after this season is over. We'll see how that. Of course, she just got through saying she'd cut him as well as soon as she thinks it's necessary. So we'll see how that all turns out. All right, we've got Quinn and T-Core and Chemo and Chelsea talking, agreeing that the tea that this instigator left was kind of old tea, which gets back to what I said earlier. Could it be them thinking, could it be someone who's already left the house, and that's why the information was a little bit old? No, whoever used it may just be a little out of the loop, which is another reason. Could it be Angela? I don't think it's Mackenzie, but could it be Angela, who maybe just wasn't as aware about some of the stuff that was happening in the house? Did she know about Pentagon? I think at this point, everyone knows about Pentagon after the Veto meeting. But anyway, they're thinking, yeah, T was a little old, so maybe keep that in mind when we're trying to figure out who this is. All right, we got T-Core and Rabina talking. Well, there's lots of talking. First of all, those four, they're spend a lot of time chatting about dating and going to school and things like that. All right, we got T-Core and Rabina kind of wrapping everything up. They're talking about how happy they are that each other is in the house. They really feel like they're bonding closer and closer this week. So they're certainly spreading the love and talking about how much harder the house would be without the other one in the house. So watching each other's backs. All right. And then finally, we've got Mackenzie and Chelsea talking. I think this took place before T-Core and Rabina. I'm out of order a little bit, but Mackenzie and Chelsea talking. Chelsea saying that most of the instigator messages were about Rabina and Tucker, and just really wondering if whoever the instigator is trying to paint Rabina and Tucker as targets, and they used Quinn, so maybe painting Quinn as a target as well. MJ is saying that T-Core and Chemo are, as far as she can tell, the strongest alliance in the house. In other words, Chelsea, those are the two we got to be watching out for. Mackenzie is thinking that if it's her versus Cam, that she would go home. But she's saying, but if it was Cam versus, Angela would probably go home and Cam would be safe. So I guess she's trying to make some suggestions about maybe who could be a renom if the veto is used, someone that may give Mackenzie a better chance of staying in this house. I'm telling you, Mackenzie better either win Veto or win AIBB Arena, or I think she's in trouble. But she's mentioning that to Chelsea. She's asking Chelsea, would you use the vote, Chelsea? If I picked you to compete in a Veto and you won it, would you use it to pull me off? Or would you use it the way T-Core wants to be used? Chelsea never really responded to that. Never said, yeah, I'm going to pull you off if I get it. So I hope Mackenzie's paying attention to that. Mackenzie is saying that Tucker is continuing to keep MJ close, but she's saying, but he stopped talking game to me. He's just not talking game. He's just kind of keeping me close to him. But, that is what it is. And Chelsea's saying Tucker is targeting strong people. He wants the strong people in his house gone so he can make it a cakewalk with the weaker people to the end of the season. And again, I think that was a little bit before we had T-Core and Rabina as their kind of the final conversation. But there you have it, guys. Lights out about 4:00 or so, Big Brother time, which is kind of late considering they do have a veto competition today. So today, veto competition, we assume. House is assuming it'll be OTEV. Maybe not. We shall see. It's imperative that MJ win this thing. If she doesn't, then we'll see if the veto is going to be used or not. We don't know for certain, but lots of talk yesterday about this instigator. Have not seen the instigator make another appearance. Maybe they will before the veto draw. I think it's a possibility just to shake everyone up before they do that. But as of now, only one appearance by the instigator, but it's got them all on edge, which is making it kind of fun. I'm looking forward to finding out who that instigator might be. Guys, have a fantastic Saturday. I'll be back tomorrow morning to give you the scoop on who won veto, whether it was OTEV or not, and we'll talk about what that means going forward. But until then, SKD143, cheers, my friends. Bye.